Hello, friends, and welcome to a very special happy half hour. As you can tell, Cassidy Hill's on special assignment today, so it's just me. What could possibly go wrong? I am joined, of course, by team captains Derek Brown, Bryce Young, JJ Jansen. Say hello to folks, everybody. Hey, everybody. I'm JJ. What's with all this mayonnaise, Darin? Well, I'll tell you, JJ, this mayonnaise is in honor of Appalachian State, as I predicted, beating the tar out of the UNCCs. I believe, what was it, 34-11, friends? It was a lot to way fewer, I know that. So add another scalp for the mighty Mountaineers. Add another jar of mayonnaise to my fine collection here. I think we go back to what? 2021, this ECU ASU mayonnaise. Another Appalachian State win, by the way. Probably not going to be enjoying that one. I think that one safely entered souvenir category. But, yeah, big weekend here at Bank of America Stadium for the mighty Mountaineers. Woohoo! Party time on that one. And now there's plenty of Panthers football to talk about. And I'm going to sit here by myself for the next half hour or however long I feel like talking. Frankly, this is my TED Talk, and welcome to it. There's a lot going on, as you can see all around me. All of these things will come into play during this show, believe it or not. Number one, the biggest piece of news is the return of Hunter Renfrow, whose head I do not have on a stick, and JJ wants me to definitely get on that as soon as possible. But Hunter's back, baby. Hunter Renfrow, it's like he never left. He was gone for a good, 3 days before he was back on the roster, and it wasn't in a way anybody would have predicted, but here we are. I mean, it was so interesting today watching this thing, or over the last couple of days watching this unfold, because last Tuesday they do cuts to an initial 53, and there's not room for Hunter Renfrow. Then the next morning they trade Adam Thielen to Minnesota, and Dan Morgan, Dave Canales say, we're keeping up lines of communication. Thursday afternoon they go out to practice, and Jalen Coker gets hurt, pulls a quad that's going to keep him out long enough that he needed to go on injured reserve. So guess who's back, baby? Hunter Renfrow. It's like he never left. The story, and I encourage you to check out the story on Panthers.com and also watch the extended video. We've got the full clip of his locker room session today. Hunter talking about the way he got back to this point was amazing at a lot of levels. Number one, because were there other people interested in signing Hunter Renfrow to be on their football team? There were. Was he interested in going to them? He was not. It was basically the Panthers or nowhere, and he spent a couple of days thinking about whether he wanted it to be the Panthers or nowhere, because they had a standing offer to put him on the practice squad, and he considered that. But he talked about a number of things, including his physical condition, the fact his wife's about to have another baby. They've got another little girl on the way here soon, and he had to consider whether doing this was something he wanted to do. But from the Carolina Panthers standpoint, he went from a want to a need in about 48 hours, because in the absence of Adam Thielen, in the absence of Jalen Coker, they're looking around like, okay, we got a bunch of receivers we like, but none of them are that natural slot the way Hunter Renfrow is. So Hunter is back in the building, and he's feeling good. I mean, it's crazy to think that a guy who was released, not a part of your 53, is all of a sudden very, very central to your plans. And we'll get into the Jacksonville matchup and exactly what some of these things look like later on in the week when there's actually somebody sitting in this chair instead of all of my fine items. But we'll get into that later in the week. But just the story of it all. I tell people all the time I like football. I love good stories. And Hunter Renfrow has become one. I mean, to overcome what he overcame, I mean, dealing with ulcerative colitis, his body was literally at war with him on a daily basis. What he could eat impacted the way he felt for days at a time, and it took him a long time to figure that out. So, A, becoming healthy, B, getting back into football shape, and then C, oh, by the way, making a team was a journey for Hunter Renfrow. And it's super cool to see him back in this locker room, and he admits this is special. There were other people who wanted to sign him during those couple days when he wasn't on a 53-man roster, but he told his agent, I'm good, let's just see how things work out here in Carolina. And now he's back, and so everybody was glad to see him out there on the practice field Monday morning. And it is Monday, Even though it's Labor Day, many people consider this a holiday, but here at the Happy Half Hour, there are no days off. Well, I guess except for the 5 days when we don't have a Happy Half Hour, but, that's a J.J. Jansen-style technicality. But we'll get to all that as we go through the course of the week. As it pertains to Jalen Coker, again, this is a serious injury, and it's a tough break for him because Jalen struggled with some soft tissue stuff last year, and they told him, hey, here's what we think you need to do to get yourself in position. And he came back and had a great training camp. Not a good one, a great one. By the end of camp, he was running around looking like that Jalen Coker of the second half of last year who was making a bunch of plays for Bryce Young. So Jalen's out there running around, doing good things, making all kind of plays in training camp. And even after you trade Adam Thielen, you think, well, okay, that's not so bad. We got Coker. He's shown he can make some plays. He goes out, and it's such a tough blow for him, not just at a physical level, but at a psychological level. I mean, here's a kid who put so much into getting himself ready for an opportunity kind of like this one, and then when the opportunity was there, to have it taken away so suddenly was a tough break for the kid. But Jalen was out there on the practice field today, walking around, looking to be in pretty good spirits, as good of a spirits as you can be when you're going to miss at least the next month of football, which is tough. But again, they're hoping the return of Hunter Renfrow helps soften some of that blow a little bit. They're hoping that they can push through for the next little bit. They've still got a very deep group. I mean, if you think about Teteroa McMillan, Xavier Leggett on the outside, Hunter Renfrow in the middle, we haven't even gotten to the dependable David Moore, the Bryson Tremaine, who had a really good camp, who I think you're probably going to see on Sunday one way or another, simply because he's going to play such a big role on special teams. And then guys like Jimmy Horn, and we'll see how this thing develops. They've got a lot of guys there, but as we talked about last week, even without the context of the Coker injury, Bryce Young was going to have to step up anyway. I mean, in the absence of an Adam Thielen, that security blanket receiver's gone. Now having a Hunter Renfrow who knows how to get open across the middle and has shown recently the ability to do so, it's still going to be on Bryce to step his game up a little bit. But everybody's got confidence that he's going to do that, hence him being voted team captain this morning. Well, the vote was actually last week. The results were announced this morning on Panthers.com, but you saw that already. So you've been around there the whole time. Again, so much stuff going on. Ickey Ekwonu talked today. Oh, by the way, your starting left tackle's coming off an emergency appendectomy. As we discussed last week, it's a little touch and go, and Dave Canales got to say day-to-day for the first time all season. It will not be the last time he says day-to-day during the season, but he was finally able to use that excuse. Yeah, we'll get into that when the injury report comes out on Wednesday. So, again, stay tuned to Panthers.com for that on Wednesday, when I'm sure it will say he is either limited or did not participate, and Dave can declare him day-to-day one more time. Ickey did talk, though, in the locker room after practice, at which he was there. He was not participating, but he was there, and said he felt pretty good. But he admitted it was a little bit of a struggle. Talked about feeling poorly for several days prior to. Hadn't felt well going into Rob Hunt's birthday dinner, and then went out with all the other offensive linemen and really wasn't eating a whole lot. Austin Corbett kind of laughed and said, yeah, we could tell Ickey was off. He wasn't eating like normal. I think when offensive linemen get together, there's a lot happening there. And so when you're not on your A game, people can tell pretty quickly. But Ickey wasn't revealing anything about his condition as it pertains to Saturday's game. With appendix surgeries, this isn't like a sprained ankle when okay, this one's mild, so it's a week or two. This one's MCL, that's 4 to 6 weeks. We don't know, because every appendix is different, as they like to say in medicine. Do they say that in medicine, Matt? I don't know. Somebody probably says every appendix is different, but it doesn't matter because Ickey doesn't have his appendix anymore. I wonder if he kept that. Can you keep things after surgeries? I would like my appendix in a jar. I think if I ever need to get my appendix removed, I will probably ask for it in a jar. I'll probably ask a lot of other questions, because when I first asked somebody about Ickey's appendix, who had far more medical knowledge than me, which is basically every resident of Earth, I said, yeah, your appendix up here. And they just kind of looked at me and they was like, Darin, that's not where your appendix is. But anyway.
You could keep it in a mayonnaise jar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I want to empty any of these out, but maybe we could find another jar and we could display them here. I think this is going to become part of the furniture around this place. We got lots of mayonnaise. We got lots of heads. We got to figure out a way to display all these things. At any rate, where were we? Appendices. I think that is the plural of appendix. And Ickey Ekwonu only had one to begin with. He did point out that it was a vestigial organ, so you didn't really need it. I like when football players use medical words. But he's feeling pretty good. Whether he plays Sunday against the Jaguars, we'll find out as the week unfolds. Stay tuned to Panthers.com for all the latest on that. There's all kind of stuff going on, believe it or not. I mean, it's football game week. It's Labor Day weekend. People are coming off, vacation plans for the last time in a long time. Austin Corbett talked the other day about taking his kids to Chuck E. Cheese this weekend. The Corbett kids are all born around the same time, so they have a weekend birthday celebration. Other people just kind of went to the mountains and chilled out and relaxed for the last little bit, because once you get back in here on Wednesday and get into that first full week of the football rotation, it's on. And so this was kind of the last week of the offseason and everything that goes with that. A little rest, a little relaxation, a little time to look back. In addition to my other many fine items I've decorated the studio with today, you may notice there are a couple of reptiles up here on the desk with me. I've got one very small former reptile as provided by video assistant Chase Howell. Shout out to Chase in the video room for loaning me his prized alligator. I'll be returning that later this afternoon, as far as you know. We also have this much larger alligator, courtesy of Rob Paul, who works up here with us in video. And you might be asking yourself, Darin, why is there an alligator, much less two alligators on your desk in this studio? Well, I'll tell you why, and this all has to do with Charles Tillman and Don Shula. If you haven't read your Panthers.com this weekend, and if you haven't, what's wrong with you? We did a story. I talked to a lot of the guys from the 2015 team about how much fun they had and the way that locker room kind of used the chemistry, the good times, the pranks, the jokes, all the things that went along with being good to kind of feed the being good. And Charles Tillman told me one of my favorite stories of all time. As it turns out, over the course of that 2015 season, Ron Rivera would invite certain assistant coaches to come talk to the team every now and then at their Saturday night meeting. And when it was Mike Shula's turn, the offensive coordinator of that 15 team, of course, the son of legendary Dolphins coach Don Shula, Mike told these guys a phenomenal story about Shula telling the Dolphins, hey, even though we're on this winning streak in 1972, hadn't lost a game, you can't get tight. You've got to stay loose. So a bunch of their players, led by Larry Zonka, the Hall of Fame fullback, went and got an actual alligator and put in Don Shula's shower. Peanut Tillman, being the veteran he is, remembered this story a couple weeks later when the 2015 Panthers actually lost their one regular season game to the Falcons. And I'll let you read Peanut's description of the way everybody was going around, but suffice it to say it got a little squeaky around here for a minute. So Peanut leaped into action, ordered a $400 fake alligator, much more realistic than this one and much larger than this one, and hid it in Ron Rivera's shower. And if you're a head football coach of a team that's like, what, at that point, 13-1, something like that, and just lost a game, and you come in and you are getting ready to get in the shower, meaning you're in a particular state of dress, and you see this large alligator, what are you going to do? Well, I think Ron probably screamed. But as he said, I mean, you're getting ready to get in the shower. I didn't have anything to throw at but a bar of soap. And so anyway, Ron threw his soap at the alligator. Peanut was hiding in the back laughing. When Ron came to yell at him a little bit later on, Peanut thought he was going to get cut for a second. Peanut was a little bit paranoid about getting cut. He had a couple of stories about that along the way. But that was just an example to me of how great that team was at staying loose. And you had all those personalities together where a Peanut Tillman, who was a great player in his own right, could come here and be a bit player. As Peanut told me, he said, I wasn't exactly washed up, but I was here for comedic relief, not starting caliber cornerback play. But Peanut was a pro. I encourage you to check it out. We've got all kind of good stuff about the 2015 team on the YouTube channel. We finished up our video look-back series with a look at the NFC Championship game and what this building was like that night. Spoiler alert, magical. They won by a bunch of points, and everybody got in the team picture except poor J.J. Jansen. J.J. actually admitted to me, and it's part of the reason I brought him into the studio here today, he admitted to me that kind of hurt his feelings for a little bit. Because, Cam's getting everybody together for the team pictures. Who's not in any of them? J.J. It's because they're usually touchdown celebrations, and somebody has to snap the ball to the kicker. So J.J. never got invited to that party, and he admitted that was kind of tough, but there were so many other ways. Check out that story on Panthers.com for the latest. JJ's also got a bunch of content on the team's YouTube channel. He's got a Cart Talk with Greg Olson that landed recently. He's got another one with Mike Tolbert. That's always a good time when those two guys get together. So all kind of stuff celebrating the 2015 team. When we return on Thursday for our regularly scheduled rotation of the Happy Half Hour, hopefully there'll be somebody here other than Derek and Bryce. Nothing personal, fellas. Hopefully Cass will be back from special assignment. Hopefully I don't have to talk for 20 straight minutes, although I could. I'm not proud or tired. We'll invite you all to our next TED Talk coming up soon. But until then, keep it locked on Panthers.com for the latest. Check out the YouTube channel for all the video content that we've got coming your way. And we'll see you later this week on the Happy Half Hour.